Am I bilingual? Welcome back to the Rice Bowl channel. So ever since the start of this channel, a lot of people have asked me what language do I speak. When I do live streams, every single time I get dozens of comments asking me what are the languages you speak, where are you from? Those are the two most popular questions. So today I'd like to answer, am I bilingual? And the short answer is no. No, I'm not bilingual. I'm actually trilingual. And you might be like, bruh, trilingual. And yeah, that's the case. I'm trilingual. I speak 3 languages, English, French, Japanese. And the order I learned them, I guess it would be English, Japanese, and then French. And to give you just a whole background information on me, why did I become like this? Because there might be some curious people, because some people might be like, whoa, he speaks 3 languages. He must be wicked smart, 200 IQ. And nah, I just got lucky. So I just want to explain how I got lucky and how I became trilingual. So to start off, I'm born in North America. My mom, she speaks English, she speaks French. My dad speaks Japanese. I'm born between my 2 parents and then grew up in North America, right? I didn't grow up in Japan. And according to my dad, the first few words, I'm not too sure. I think he said the first few words I was saying were like Japanese, something like that. In the past, I remember, I might be wrong, but nonetheless, when he would speak to me in Japanese though, when I was like 4 or 5, I would answer to him in English. So I guess English is the first language I really became fluent in. I understood Japanese, but I was answering to him in English. Now, kindergarten and elementary school come along. During this time, I went to a French kindergarten, French elementary school, and at the same time, I was going to a Japanese, Saturday school kind of thing where we do 4 hours of Japanese, 4 hours of math, a bit of science, a bit of history like that. It was a commitment, honestly. That was a commitment, going to school on 6 days a week like that. But anyways, so I went to the French elementary school, so I had a base, and then the French Japanese school. But the thing is, looking back, my Japanese wasn't that great in elementary school, and it's not lack of practice because I was speaking with my dad every day for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, like a lot. I was talking with my dad a lot in Japanese at home. But in a school setting, it's a bit different, and I didn't really know any formal Japanese. And I don't know if by any chance someone who's watching this video happens to be a parent who is Japanese and they're married to a non-Japanese person and they're growing up in a different country, and they might notice this also, your kid doesn't really know much formal Japanese. And that was the case for me also, because when you're living outside of Japan, you don't really there's no instances where you use formal Japanese. But that was the situation. French elementary school, we did a bit of English a few hours a week, and Japanese Saturday school. High school comes around, I go into a French high school also, folks. And this French high school, I'm not gonna lie, it was tough for me. The French was really high level, and honestly, like, for the whole 5 years I went to high school, it was really hard for me to just pass French class. Like, I'm lucky I never had to go to summer school or anything like that. Like, I worked hard in French class, not gonna lie, and I barely passed, like 61, 63. 59, and at the final I had to hustle and get like 64 or something like that. That was the reality for the first 2 years. And then I stopped Japanese school around that time also, when I was around in first year of high school, right? And then I told myself, like, man, am I just going to invest all this time in French and lose my Japanese? So there was 1 year where I didn't really like do much Japanese. I was reading like mangas and all that on my way to school. I had no trouble understanding reading mangas, but I was like, I need to get better. And around in 2012, what happened was I was no longer in Japanese school, but I was still going to the French high school, right? 3rd year of high school right now, folks. It's 5 years where I was. So in the middle, I made this decision where I'm going to immerse myself into Japanese. So what happened, a lot of lucky things lined up. So I decided to start reading books. This is the first thing. I was only reading mangas at the time, but I decided to start reading these random books we had in the house. I bought a few books here and there at the Japanese book fairs they would do near where we used to live. $1, $2 books I used to buy. So I had a couple. I had a dozen books, so I read that throughout the year. And also I decided to just watch a lot of Japanese YouTube. And back in the day, it was niche. The top YouTuber in Japan, or one of the top, has 10 million or more, actually 15 million subscribers. But I remember when I used to watch him at the time, he had like 30,000. It was a big deal. Another guy I used to watch, he has over 10 million subscribers now. When I first started watching him, he had like 7,000 subscribers. So YouTube in Japan was still niche, but this was good for my listening, I'd listen to non-conventional Japanese, non-formal, non-anime Japanese, and it was a bit different than when I talk with my dad, the YouTube Japanese almost. So that helped with my listening. I got to learn more about what the young people were into, the culture, the slang, all of that. Now, my grades in French, they started to slip, and I thought I was going to fail the year actually, because my grades and everything started to slip because I was putting a lot of time in just immersing myself in Japanese, reading the books, listening to the music, watching the YouTube. But honestly, during that year, my Japanese progressed like crazy. And we're it's like where I'm at now. I'm able to go to work speaking Japanese no problem, and people like, oh wow, like how come your Japanese is so good? Didn't you grow up in the West? And I'm like, yeah. And then I told them like I just had this 1 year in my life where I really immersed myself into Japanese. And fourth year, fifth year of high school, I continued watching a lot of YouTube in Japanese, all of that, listening to Japanese music. But later on in high school, it gets important for higher education, the grades. So I toned it down a bit. I concentrated more on French, more on math, sciences, and all that, because I didn't want to continue doing a huge commute, so I had to strategically choose the schools I wanted to go into the future. But that's a different story, because that's a whole story on itself. But yeah, long story short, I'm not bilingual, I'm trilingual. And I just want to say why I got lucky. I got lucky in this environment where both of my parents speak like different languages, and then I got to immerse myself in different cultures. And also I went to a French school. And then at these schools you get to meet different people. Some only speak French, some are bilingual, some speak English also. But what's interesting is I'm trilingual, and it's like whoa. When I'm in Japan, it's like whoa, he's amazing, trilingual, lucky you. Like imagine being bilingual. He speaks 3 languages. But the reality is, if you live in a high immigrated, like I don't know how you would say it, a place that has a lot of immigration, where I used to live, you just naturally have 3 languages most of the time. Whatever language your parents speak to you at home, and then people like go to French school, right? And then they learn English, naturally, basically. So yeah, that's the situation. I'm not some kind of smart 200 IQ kid. I'm not some kind of amazing genius or anything like that. I just had the right environment and parents to push me into that direction of languages, because I did get to go to a Japanese school, and that helped me with my base. Like obviously I didn't really learn formal Japanese or anything like that, but I learned the kanjis and all that, the hiragana, katakana, kanji, and I was strong at kanji, not gonna lie, because it was the one thing I was really interested in. Because like my grades started to slip at Japanese school also, but then my dad had this book where it was like the history of kanjis he got at the library, and then I was reading it, and I don't know, something clicked in my brain, and I'm like, wow, this is so interesting. And I look at the JLP test, and man, having to learn all those words later on in life, I respect people who actually attempt that, because honestly, I don't think I have the motivation in me to learn a language at that degree, at that level. So props to everyone who's studying Japanese later on in life. I'm just very lucky and blessed to have had this whole experience, all these opportunities, and this whole like lucky environment when I was younger. But yeah, that's the situation. I'm not bilingual, I'm trilingual. Anyways, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them out in the comment section down below. Have a nice day. See you in the next video. Thank you for the support on the last video, by the way. And you can check out the channel for more content and subscribe if you're interested. Have a nice day. See you in the next video. And goodbye.